I believe Chainlink has a monopoly on the Oracle market. I'm going to explain why, so stick around. First, I just want to say, guys, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button for me. If you're a returning subscriber, I wish you a very, very prosperous next cycle. If you're not already subscribed, hit that button. My wishes will go to you as well. Link Marines, I also want to say you guys have by far been my biggest supporters. I really appreciate all the support you've given me. Thank you very much. Okay, so in order for us to understand why Chainlink has monopolized the Oracle market, we have to first understand how an Oracle works. For those of you who are very familiar with Chainlink, you're going to understand how oracles work. This is more for the newbies. How an oracle works is basically it's a data stream. So the oracle goes and fetches external data and brings it into the blockchain. Without the oracle, you can't import external data such as, you know, what sports team won a game, what the weather's like, so on and so forth. This is important because if you're running like a sports betting project on Ethereum, you need to know which team wins so that you can pay out the winner accurately on the blockchain. So again, if you have two sports teams playing and one team wins, the guy who took the bet with that team should get the payout. So in order to fetch that information, you need an oracle. A blockchain without an oracle is a lot like a PC that's not connected to the internet. Sure, there's lots you can do on the PC itself, but when it comes to fetching external data, there's no way for the computer to do that. And it's the same sort of idea with a blockchain and Oracle networks. So this is why oracles are so extremely important to the blockchain space and crypto just in general. I mean, our projects would be so boring if there was no oracles, which is also another reason why Chainlink is so massive, why it is so important. If you guys haven't checked out my video yet, I highly recommend doing it here. I explain why using Raoul Paul's strategy, Chainlink could very well become bigger than both Bitcoin and Ethereum. So, okay, getting back to Chainlink's monopoly on the market. The reason I think it's monopolizing the Oracle space is because if you have two tabs open and one is Coinbase or any other centralized exchange, and you have a DEX open on another that isn't using Chainlink price feeds, and the Oracle is lagging or is slow to produce the price, what can happen is a trader can exploit that project by taking a look at the Coinbase tab. So let's say you've got Bitcoin up on Coinbase and you have Bitcoin up on the DEX. If you see on Coinbase that Bitcoin dropped $2,000 in a matter of 5 minutes and you're holding Bitcoin on the DEX, what you can then do is hurry up and sell before the Oracle updates the price feed, capturing the old Bitcoin price and saving yourself from the dip, or open a short in that amount of time if the DEX allows for shorts, or you can decide to buy before the spike and just immediately sell. So basically, you know, it's sort of like a slow oracle gives you a projection or the ability to react on the current pricing. You know what I'm saying? It's sort of like in the past. It allows you to see the future a bit on a centralized exchange and game the DEX. So if you're gaming the DEX, what will happen is eventually the DEX will be drained of the funds there because you'll be profitable. You'll be extremely profitable. So if you're doing it right. So that is a major risk in using a, well, shaky oracle that isn't well proven or even on the same feeds as something like Chainlink, which has become the status quo in the industry. What you need to do is have all of the DEXs or whatever project you're running be on the same page. That way you don't open the door to this. Yes, there could be a glitch with the the Chainlink Oracle, or it could be running a little slow, and maybe something like Coinbase is running different price feeds and there's an arbitrage opportunity there. There's a couple things there. So one is your barrier to move the token from on-chain to Coinbase is a lot higher. You've got to pay the gas fees, you got to wait for the transaction to process, which can take a lot of time. And if it takes a lot of time, the odds are by the time you get your token transferred, the opportunity is not going to be there anymore. Or B, it's just going to cost way too much for you to even move it over and for it to be worth arbitraging. So as long as all the on-chain projects are on the same page, even if there's a glitch with the Oracle, they're all glitching together. So it's, again, there's no opportunity to exploit a single project, which is the monopoly of Chainlink. Again, it's almost like Google as a search engine, right? There's multiple other search engines out there and ways to import data into your website, but for the most part, people use Google to do that, and that's just because it's the network effect. It's so big and everyone uses it. It's become the de facto, and so it's kind of like, if you're going to do it, you may as well just use Google. Same thing applies here, I think, for Chainlink. If you're going to build a project and it needs oracles, why not use the one that is already proven that every other project is using? An oracle isn't something you necessarily need to experiment with. Most people don't want to experiment with them. The only reason you'd want to experiment with them is if for some reason Chainlink wasn't performing at the ability you needed now, or the speed you needed. But we know that Chainlink is by far the most advanced oracle in the market, so that is just not the case. So if you're starting a new project and oracle isn't an area you want to really take a risk, you just need it to work and to be accurate. And if that is what Chainlink is doing, then you just go with Chainlink. And that is sort of, I think, the mindset that most projects are going to have going forward. There's no real sense in taking a risk here, you know, and even to get paid financially to try a new oracle, it just opens a massive door. Your whole project could tumble if the oracle isn't working correctly. Again, it offers the opportunity to exploit the project when the oracle is off. Picture like a game of telephone, right? If one oracle, you know, if it's going and fetching data and that data is maybe just a sliver off by the time it gets to the blockchain only knows what the oracle is telling it. So it's so crucially important that the oracle is accurate and fast. And again, with every project under the sun using Chainlink right now, it's almost like your only option in this space. And because it is cross-chain, meaning it is on every major blockchain that I can think of, they launched on Avalanche, Subnets, ANC chain, they're on Solana now, Ethereum, like all these chains are using Chainlink. So you're interconnecting, you're almost allowing your project to get information from all chains. Now, I know it's not necessarily there yet, but I think that is the goal of Chainlink, is to be able to really connect just about every blockchain, which again just increases its monopoly on the space. So I hope you guys like this video. I hope it was informative to you guys. A little bit of hopium on the Chainlink side. I am a big believer in the technology. I'm not necessarily pumping the token here, guys, so the token might go in circles, up, down, left, right. I have no idea, so please do not use this as investment advice. Strictly just looking at it from a technological perspective. With that being said, guys, I will see you next time.